menu is going to be roast chicken, and I'm going to roast it in my air fryer, and it'll probably roast in about 20 minutes. That's about 3 pound chicken. And I'm going to season with, one or a combination of all of these seasonings, seasoning salt, seasoning black pepper. And I'm not endorsing any brand, so I've covered the brand name. But you can get whatever you want. I mean, whatever taste you want. If you want garlic chicken, lemon chicken, whatever chicken you want. I like a roasted chicken because out of one chicken you can have many, many dishes. Quesadillas, chicken fricassee, chicken sandwich, chicken salad, chicken soup. So I'll roast this today, maybe cut half and put it in the freezer since I'm cooking for one. And I've washed my chicken. I'm from a Caribbean background, so we wash all of our flesh before we prepare them. And I've cooked for over 30 years, and I've never had anyone had food poisoning from my dinners or anything like that. Really clean up well using some bleach water to cut any bacteria. So I'll be back once we're seasoned and we're ready to put into the air fryer. So I'm gonna have some broccoli rabe with dinner tonight. I absolutely love broccoli rabe. I do like to have vegetables with all of my meals, but I particularly like broccoli rabe much more than broccoli itself because it has a kind of like a bitter taste. And if you're not familiar with broccoli rabe, it's got these little florets on it that look like broccoli, hence the name broccoli rabe, and that's how you can identify it at the grocery store. But it just is really lovely. And what I generally do is with broccoli rabe is, I'll cut them up nice and small, and I use a cleaver. I don't use a knife because the cleaver just really gets into the nitty gritty of it all. If you use a knife, you've got to saw, and I can't be bothered with the sawing. It's not wood. So, but whatever works for you. If you feel more comfortable with one of those big knives, and that's cool. But I like a cleaver because it just, I can kind of just go all around and cut it up. And when I cook broccoli rabe, I love to add garlic. And what I do is I saute it in some coconut oil or whatever oil you have. People like to use olive oil, but olive oil isn't supposed to be heated. The properties are much better when it's consumed at room temperature. And you can use a garlic press, but I actually grate my garlic. And the reason why I grate my garlic is because I like to, I really like to taste it, and I like it to be spread sort of all over. So I tend to grate my garlic because I don't like the big pieces, unless of course the recipe calls for, sliced or stuffed or, stuff like that. And the beneficial properties of garlic are released once it's been opened. So, people like to say, garlic's really good for you. I take a clove of garlic a day, but swallowing a clove really isn't doing that much for you if you haven't broken the skin. Okay? And roasted garlic is nice too when you just roast it whole in a head. That's really nice. And so, I kind of mix it up, and that's it. I'm going to toss it in the frying pan, and I'm going to saute it with some coconut oil. You can do coconut oil, sunflower oil. Those are good oils to saute with. Sunflower oil is good to fry with as well. And coconut oil is good because the chemical compounds don't change when it's heated, so it's really actually one of the best oils to cook with because all of the goodness stays when it's heated. So here we have the broccoli rabe, and I'm going to just saute that, like I said, with some coconut oil, and I shall show you the end product. So I said I'd bring you back to have a look at the chicken, and this is about 20 minutes worth of cooking, and if you can see, there's some nice juice in there. And what I want to do is I'm going to cut in between to see where we are, see if it's fully cooked. I might have to go another 5 or 10 minutes, but this cooks, we're not fully cooked there. You can see there's still some blood, but another 10 minutes will be good. This is convection, so there's a fan inside and it cooks via convection. So I'm going to put that back in for another 10 minutes. I'm going to turn it on 350, put it on roast, and I'm going to do it for another 10 minutes and see how we make out, and we'll come back. So I've melted some coconut oil in the frying pan here, and that's what I'm going to put my broccoli rabe in. But I want it to really go, because I really want it to pop when I put it in. I want it to pop, 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 pop. And I'm kind of a clean as you go kind of chick, so I keep a bowl with some soapy water and wipe down the counters as I go along. This bowl actually has some bleach in it, a tad of bleach, just a little bit, because I was, you know, preparing the chicken earlier on. So I keep a bowl of bleach water when I'm handling chicken. Otherwise it's just some plain soapy water, maybe sometimes with a touch of pine sol or lavender or something like that. Okay, well, this is really hot. You can't really see, but you can kind of sort of see the waves in it. So I'm just gonna pop, and you hear that pop pop. That's what you want to hear when you saute it, or otherwise it's gonna get real foggy. I'm going to turn up the fire again. I turned it down a little bit because we really want it to pop back, you know. Kind of gives it a little bit of a caramelizing heat to the. And in order to keep that pop going, you don't want to spread it all over the pan, because you want that side of the pan to stay really hot, so that you can continue to pop. Move it over, squeeze out any water. You know, otherwise it's going to like get, you know, kind of foggy-ish, and that's not what we're looking for here. So just let that water cook off. And you know, my daughter cooked some Haitian rice. She had some leftovers, so I don't know, I might have it with the Haitian rice instead of the sweet potatoes, and maybe leave the sweet potatoes for tomorrow. But it's up to you. You know, you can have it with rice, roast potatoes, noodles if you want, just a side of vegetables. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't feel like any simple carbs, and I'll just have complex carbs. You try your vegetables and stuff, you know? And that's what you do, you just keep tossing it. Not sure if you can see a little caramelizing maybe on the, oh no, I'm not going to see it, maybe on the garlic. But this is done. And so what I'll do is I'll pour this into a container so that any leftovers I can save for, you know, tomorrow for lunch or something. Okay, so that's your broccoli ready. So now I'm going to make some gravy, and as you can see, I've taken the chicken out of the air fryer. I'm just going to cut some onions. Now, I'm from Caribbean descent, so our gravy always has some onion and tomatoes and whatnot in it, and it usually has some thyme. However, I don't have any thyme. I didn't go out to the store, I didn't get any today. That's almost sacrilegious, because, you know, when you cook in a Caribbean home, at least in the Jamaicans, and all the other Caribbean people I know, they all kind of use the same thing. The Haitians use the same thing, Scotch bonnet pepper and whatnot. So in this, there's some Scotch bonnet pepper, onions and tomatoes, and that will give it a little bit of oomph. And then I'm going to just cook these a little bit. Whoops. I'm going to cook those a little bit so that they caramelize. And then in the meantime, while they're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up that chicken. Because like I said, it's just really for me. I think my daughter might come over and have some too. However, I'm going to cut it up, and then I'm going to put a little bit of base in here, and we have the drippings from the chicken. I'm going to boil some water so that I can get some of the crusted drippings off, because you know that always makes nice gravy, you know, rather than making gravy from scratch. I don't know if you can see that it's getting nice and soft. I'll turn up the fire a little bit so that it can cook there. Oh no, you can't really see it, can you? Hold on. There you are. So make sure you see everything. So now I'm going to, and you know, you don't have to like cooking, you know what I mean? You just have to cook, because you know, taking care of your body is really important. You know, you do some exercise, you cook, you do some maintenance. You see that? Doesn't that look nice? You do some maintenance. I'm going to put this in for a few. Is that blood I can see? Oh no, that's the bone. Let me put it in for a minute. Let's put it in for a little minute. Just make sure we get all of that out. Put it in for one more minute. I don't want any blood showing. I'm going to do it for 1 minute. Oh, this is going. And so in order to, we're going to get the drippings, put a bit of base in there until that minute goes. Put a little bit of base in there, and I just use just about that much, because we've got the drippings from the chicken, so we don't really need. And you can do any kind of canned broth or anything like that. You know, you can use cornstarch to thicken. You know, more crushed tomatoes, flour if that's all you've got. And you do with that is you mix whatever you're going to use. If it's going to be the flour or the cornstarch to thicken up, you mix about half a teaspoon with it, and then you mix about half a teaspoon with it, and then you pour it into your mixture. You know, once everything's kind of cooked in there, so I'm just kind of pouring, I don't know, 3 ounces or so in here of water. It's kind of eyeball stuff, you know. I'm not a chef, so I don't deal in too much measurements of this and how much of that. You kind of just eyeball it, you know. And you just cook, you know. You just eyeball it and cook. So I'm going to take out the chicken now, because it was a bit red. It wasn't bad, but I just want to make sure And you might think that it looks burnt, but it's not. What that is the rest of the seasoning I had poured on it. That makes it look slightly crispy at the top. But we want it a bit crispy. It's roast chicken, isn't it? You know, no soggy roast chicken. But you see that? You see how nice and moist that is? I wonder if I can get that up to the camera for you to see. Very nice and moist. See that? Very, very nice and moist. The air fryer really does a good job. It cuts time in half too, because this took about half hour in total, give or take, you know. And so I'll just cut this up like this, just like this, so it'll be nice and ready. And that's why I like using my chopper, because you just kind of chop it. And that's it. You just cut it up. Nice and crispy. You can hear that crisp on the wing. The wing's my favourite part, actually, of the chicken. I love the wing. Yeah, I'll take the 2 wings. When you're hungry, eat all parts of it, alright? So this will be a nice dinner for tomorrow. Lunch. Oh, I'm making a mess on my stove. Oops. Eat that, please. Oh, it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Like I said, I'm a clean as you go, because after I finish eating, I don't want to do anything else. So you can see the gravy's coming together. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the drippings from the bottom of the air fryer. Yeah, lovely. Well, that's all the drippings. Now, all that juice came from the chicken. So I'll go in here. And it'll stay there and cook. And there's the gravy. And if I want it a bit thicker, like I said, I'll use a bit of cornstarch to thicken it up. There's a bit of Scotch bonnet in there. Don't have any thyme, unfortunately. Wish I did, but I don't. And that's it. There you have it. So once I've thickened up the gravy, very nice. Once I've thickened up the gravy, I'll make my plate. Oh, now this is naughty when you eat. Oh, really nice. Oh, I have a piece for you. Oh, very nice. There you go. There's your finished product. That's dinner. Broccoli rabe, roast chicken, sweet potato.